On this episode of Takedown with Chris Hansen, it's a rainy day in the Sunshine State, and things are about to get even darker for this potential child predator.
The pictures that he sent, he is pretty decently muscular.
Now! Get on the ground!
I hope you're enjoying this full free episode of Takedown, but there's something else you need to know. Only a small portion of our episodes are on YouTube. There are more than 100 episodes on our streaming service, ad-free and uncensored at WatchTrueBlue.com. Use the code YouTube24 to watch them all for $2.50 or YouTube Year for $20 off an annual subscription. Also, and this is important, hit the subscribe button below, and we'll see you soon on True Blue. The Polk County, Florida Sheriff's Office makes it well known they will do whatever it takes to apprehend potential child predators. And on this rain-soaked night, one man will be drowning in trouble. 52-year-old John is a self-proclaimed traveling cowboy and auto mechanic. But the only thing he'll be fixin' to tell tonight are his excuses. He goes by GetterDid6869 and answers a post for Family Fun. But the poster is an undercover detective posing as a mom of a 14-year-old girl. The chat starts around 10 p.m. in the evening between John and the decoy mom.
Family fun.
Yes, family fun. Do you know what I mean by that?
Not sure. What do you mean?
Having fun with my daughter, mainly.
How old is your daughter?
She's 14, and she loves family time.
That's awesome.
You said you want me to participate too on the phone.
But what if I wanted you also?
Both of us?
Would you be naked while you were watching? It would be my first time, but would take you both.
You're saying you want a threesome?
That would be the first. Ginny is hot. But would Ginny be okay with me being older and average?
After proposing a threesome with the mother and daughter, John then begins chatting with who he thinks is the 14-year-old girl.
Hey, this is Ginny. My mom just showed me your age, and really, 52 ain't old. I enjoyed talking to you.
You are very hot.
He follows up that message with a sexually graphic photo.
It's average, but hope you like it.
What could you teach me? I like to learn new things.
All kind of different positions. All kinds of foreplay.
John then proceeds to explain what that means and describes other sexual positions in graphic detail. Too graphic for us to share here.
Start with some kissing and touching. A lot of and
What you doing this Friday night?
was gonna work on the airboat, but would rather meet you.
I'm more glad you don't care that I'm 14. LOL.
What all have you done so far? Have you been and
No,
have you been taken doggy style?
I don't know what that is.
I'm excited but really nervous. I keep thinking I'm gonna have the police all over me. Never been so excited but so scared at the same time.
John seems to be having second thoughts about meeting the 14-year-old girl,
I'm at the store in front of the hotel.
but it doesn't last long.
I'm here, but gotta find the room.
While John searches the hotel for the room, the Cyber Guardian Task Force is ready for the takedown, and so am I.
All right, let's go move in. Somebody take the back entrance.
He is pretty decently muscular.
On the ground, drop your phone.
Get on the ground.
On your ground,
Get
drop
on
your
the
phone
ground.
down.
Get on the ground.
Now! On your stomach. On your stomach.
After being placed in cuffs, John got a personal escort to the sheriff's office. Upon seeing me and my cameras, John immediately tries to cover his face or attempt at hiding his identity. Hey, John, how you doing?
No, I ain't doing okay.
John, tell me how you got in this situation tonight.
I was stupid. Y'all can go on with the cameras. I ain't.
Well, John, I'm Chris Hansen, and I do stories on fellows who try to meet children for sex.
No, I wasn't trying to meet.
Predators.
I wasn't trying to meet a young.
Yeah, but John, the text of your
Yeah,
conversation,
Yeah, well, I wrote all kinds of stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
you did.
I
But
wrote
what am I
all
to
kinds
make of that?
stuff. I wrote all kinds of stuff because when I was first told on a site last night
Right.
about a 14-year-old girl,
Right.
that hit hard. I got $6 myself.
You have 6 daughters yourself.
I got $6.
How old are your daughters,
So
John?
then when I was told
How old are
it
your
was
daughters?
14, they're all grown.
They're all grown.
So then when I was told it was 14, I was like, this is messed up. So
Right.
I fed into it and I fed into it. I was wrong.
Right.
I was wrong. I
Why
fed
did you
into
feed
it.
into it, John?
Why did I feed into
Yeah.
it? To see how far it would go and if I could meet her.
You can meet her,
Not the kid, the mom.
the mom.
Because if it was true, I wouldn't be the one in the cuffs right now. She would.
Right. So you were a do-gooder here.
Well, I'm just saying a kid shouldn't have to go through that.
Right.
No kid should have to go through that.
It's an excuse I've heard all too many times, that he was just coming to save the girl. But yet, like all the others, he didn't call the authorities. But you see how this looks in the chats.
Well, I know. I see how it looks.
It looks like
And
you
I
wanted
was-
to take her
it's-
through it.
It's like I was telling a young lady outside. Yeah, I need to make better decisions and be
Right.
smarter at doing stuff. Because as far as a detective, you can see I suck at a detective work.
Right.
So-
you suck at detective work.
Right.
But
So-
here's the thing, John. Why didn't you just call 911?
And
or...
it's like she said, I should have. I
Right.
really should
Does
have.
that make more sense?
It makes a lot
You
more
could have
sense.
called the sheriffs and said, "Hey, look, there's a mom trying to
the
pimp
way
out
it
her
all
14-year-old
started-
daughter."
The way it all started on the adult side, I didn't
Right.
think they would believe nothing, to be honest.
I know, but if you're an honest fellow, why don't you just call
But
the sheriffs?
True.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I agree with that.
Because this chat does not look good, John.
No, it don't look good. And it's like I told them a while ago. I mean, I put stuff in there I should have never even put.
Have you been in? No.
I mean, I put all
I
kinds
want
of stuff
to.
in there.
Have you been taking doggy style? I don't know what that is, she
But
says.
in the same sentence,
You're face down and up in the air.
You ain't listening.
Well, I'm listening now, but you got to listen to me too.
And in the same sentence, that whole thing right there is
Mm-hmm.
the same person. It's not Jenny. It's the same person.
But the
That's what
person
I'm thinking.
who's portrayed here is a 14-year-old girl.
Right, that's who it's supposed to be.
Right.
But the whole time it's really
So
not
you're
her.
saying you think it's
I
somebody
think
else?
It's D
The mom.
the whole time.
Right, but she told you she was 14, and she told you it was Jenny.
Right.
She talks about going to
But
school.
that's-
She talks about not having experience.
But
You
that's-
talk about being naughty and
but
sending
that's-
naughty texts.
To me, that's still D. That's the same D.
Right, but it's laid out pretty clearly here that it's Jenny
Right.
who says she's
Yeah,
14.
right. But
So did you just
pretty-
get confused?
Pretty clearly, well, I mean, to start with, I was confused because they would say it was D, and then it was Jenny, and then it was D, and then it was Jenny.
But this went on for a couple
Okay.
days now. It just
No,
wasn't
this was just since last night.
right. But so
Just last night.
it's a day later now,
So,
24 hours later.
But anyway,
He now backtracks and says he thought he had been texting with the mom the whole time.
I kept thinking it was D.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then I would think it would be a Jenny because when I was talking to D on the phone,
Mhm.
supposedly D, which was an undercover cop. So all of them is not Jenny or D,
Right.
honestly. when it
I
comes
understand
down
that,
to
but
it.
if you talk to somebody who
But-
says they're 14, you're supposed to
But
call
you're
the
right,
police or
you're
stop
right,
the
you're
conversation.
right,
You're
you're
not
right.
supposed to get in your car.
And they're right.
Right.
I mean, that's the reason I told them.
You're in a jam right now,
I told them
John.
specifically
Right.
that thank God that y'all was the cause,
Glad he agrees with our work here.
because I'd have been calling the cops.
Right.
That's why I
But you
kept
didn't
messaging
call
her.
the
I know.
cops.
That's why I kept messaging on my phone. If y'all wanted to look at it,
Right.
I told her 5 or 6 times the cops is gonna be swarming.
I haven't even gotten a pic yet. I don't do that. I'm sorry. I'll let you take a pic when you're here if you want.
We
though.
don't want to all that.
Right, but it's significant because you talk about performing oral sex on a 14-year-old. They ask if she's
But
had
it's not
doggy
a
style.
14-year-old. It's D.
I know, but she says she's 14, and it's
But
clear
it's
in the
D.
transcripts that it's
But it's
Jenny.
D.
Okay, now you
But
should
it's
know
D.
by now.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's-
It's D.
That's what you say now.
It's D.
All right, John.
It's D.
But I'm looking at the transcript,
I
right?
understand that.
And it makes it pretty clear that you go back and forth. There's all the
Back and
sex
forth,
talk.
back and forth, back and forth,
You're
back
working
and
on the
forth.
mom to introduce you to the girl.
Exactly.
Then you're chatting with the girl. And then there's sex talk, and there's 69 and doggy style, and you talk about her and oral sex. And then you show up.
Said that. That's how I paid attention. 4 times you said that.
Right. But again, chat is chat, but showing up is showing up, John.
Yeah, but I wouldn't.
You drove over to the hotel.
The last phone call, if y'all was on that phone call,
Mm-hmm.
y'all would have heard me say, well, I'm not coming,
But you came.
but I still went.
Right.
Because she says, I said, you're not the cops, this and that, this and that.
Right, but that
If
makes
she-
it sound
if
like
she-
it
if
makes
she
it sound like
would've
you're
said-
worried about getting busted,
If she
John.
would have said she was the cops, I'd have been like, okay.
Well, yeah, of course. If she said she was the
None of this-
cops, that's
none
not
of
how
this-
it works.
None of this is true.
Come on, John. The chats never lie.
So, but anyway.
It's true enough.
Yeah, it's true enough. I'm in handcuffs now. I'm not a hero. I didn't get to save.
No, you didn't.
I didn't get no.
So,
I
John,
didn't.
here's a question for
I didn't get to
you. Are you ready for the question? If the sheriffs hadn't been there, if I hadn't been there, my camera crew hadn't been there, and a 14-year-old girl had been there, and you walked in,
No, I wasn't gonna walk in.
what would have happened?
But I wasn't gonna.
You were
walk in the
on your
room.
way down the hallway when
I
they
wasn't
made you
gonna
get
walk
down
in-
on the ground.
Yeah, when I knocked on the door, if y'all was cameramen was watching, I went away from the door after I knocked.
You showed up at the hotel.
I did.
Right, and that
I
looks,
did.
that
That
looks
was
dirty
stupid.
and
That was
illegal and
stupid.
predator-like and everything
That
else.
was stupid.
You see how that looks?
I see how
it looks like you're a creepy
I
predator
see
trying to have
how-
sex with a 14-year-old
I
girl.
see
That's how it looks,
I see how it looks.
right?
I see.
And
I
you
agree.
haven't told me
I agree with
anything
you.
that changes.
And
my
I
mind
agree
about
with
this,
it.
John.
That I can't change it. I mean, I'm thinking I'm gonna save a 14-year-old because I got 6 girls myself.
You got 6 girls yourself. What would you do, John,
If I was the one.
if one of your girls was getting hit upon by a much older man?
Exactly.
Who talked about doggy style and
That's
69
the
and
same
oral
thing
sex?
they said, and
Well, how would
and
you
I got to
feel?
agree with 'em.
Would
I got
you
to
would
agree
you
with 'em.
believe that fellow?
I got to agree with him. That wasn't the right
Okay.
things to be doing. But I
Right.
was just trying to keep it feeding and keep it feeding and keep it, but it didn't.
It sounds like you're trying to keep it feeding so you can go feed on a 14-year-old girl.
Oh my
John.
God, man! All right, I'm done.
All right.
I ain't
Anything else you want to say?
No, I'm gonna say that was messed up.
As abruptly as he was arrested, he ends our interview. But there's much more waiting for John. John was charged with 7 felonies, 3 counts of transmitting images harmful to a minor, traveling to meet a child after using a computer, traveling to meet a minor after using a computer to solicit a parent, attempting to engage in sexual activity with a minor, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. He's entered a plea of not guilty and has a pretrial hearing on February 23rd. In the meantime, John was ordered to house arrest, permitted only to leave for work, and he has to wear a GPS monitor. During his interview with detectives, John revealed a piece of information that is very concerning to Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, one that might put his deputies in harm's way. 52-year-old John communicated with a woman wanting to have sex with her 14-year-old daughter. He transitioned the conversation to communicating directly with the 14-year-old, or who he thought was a 14-year-old. Was an auto mechanic, run-of-the-mill guy. But he was bound and determined to make this fantasy reality.
And he was not only an auto mechanic, he was an auto mechanic that worked on our cars at one of the local vendors. And he told us that. Like maybe that was going to get him a break. It's going to make sure that if he makes bond until he goes to prison, that we don't let him have access to our cars, because he may decide not to repair them appropriately, but that's all secondary. He thought he was going to attack a child.
And in detail,
Right.
this whole fantasy of dealing with the mother to get to the child.
Part of the game. They play in their mind. Part of the stalking of the children. And yet you have this auto mechanic that is fantasizing with mother and daughter introductions and going to attack the child, and It's just a different twist on the old process of stalking children for sex, deviant sex. They're pedophiles, they're dangerous.
True Blue is the premier destination for true crime shows and documentaries. Check out the full library today at watchtrueblue.com.